Two high-profile retailers getting their spandex all in a bunch thanks to a pair of founders gone wild. We will get to Dove Charney in just a second, but we're going to start with Lululemon's Chip Wilson, who's reportedly gearing up for a proxy fight against the company that he founded. Here now, the Wall Street Journal's Dana Mattioli, along with Charlie Gasparino, and marketing maven Bruce Turkel is here as well. Welcome to all of you. Dana, I'm going to start with you because you wrote a big article about this morning. Chip Wilson working with Goldman Sachs to try and regain control. He has 28% of the company, but they're trying to force him out because he keeps saying sort of dumb stuff like not everybody belongs in the pants that I make. What are his odds, do you think?
Well, he has a few options. He could outright sell his 28% stake. I don't know if he'd want to do that right now if the company's lost a third of its value since the beginning of the year. He could team up to buy the company with a private equity firm, or he could launch a proxy fight. So he's considered a bit of a loose cannon. No one really knows which direction he'll take.
I mean, what's the betting on the street? Because you obviously talked to a lot of people for the article. What do you think?
Well, he publicly voted against 2 directors on the board last month, so he's been very vocal there. But it sounds like he could sound out private equity or maybe
the betting clearly isn't that he's looking to take it private because the stock would be higher. I mean, listen.
Although it's been really beaten down because they've had a really hard time. They talk about the fact that having the board and the CEO out there fighting in public is incredibly bad for the brand. Go ahead, Charlie.
In some ways, we should have started with the bar really low with Charney because what he did was so outrageous.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second.
I know.
Let's do this first.
What was the worst thing this guy said? I mean, if we're holding him accountable.
Well, the pants were see-through because they were rubbing together, and instead of really blaming the product, and Bruce, I'll get your take on this. Instead, he said, you know what? Not everybody belongs in these pants. Is that good or bad marketing, Bruce?
No, this was terrible. Come on, if he was selling something else, fine. We've heard people say stupid things. Most consumers don't care about the CEO. But when you sell products to women, and the CEO is clearly misogynistic with his comments, and certainly with the way he runs the business, that's just stupid.
Misogynistic? I mean, misogynist. I mean, I can think of 40,000 more misogynistic. Listen,
I know, but they're not trying to sell women pants. I mean, that's the difference.
Let's be honest here. None of us know this guy. None of us here know really. Maybe you know the guy. The journal reporter might know him. I don't know him. You don't know him. You don't know what's going on. He might be a complete deviant pervert.
But nobody's going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
That statement itself. Listen, there are certain men who should not wear Italian-made suits. You know why? Because they're too thin. They're not cut right. Now, does that make me anti-male?
I don't know. Wait, but not to be outdone.
I wouldn't buy suits from you.
Yeah, not to be outdone. I mean, we have to get to the even more colorful character, American Apparel founder Dove Charney vowing to sue the company after he was fired as CEO, even as details emerge that sexual harassment played a part in his exit. I mean, and it wasn't just sexual harassment. I mean, this guy has been in trouble with the company for a long time. In his termination letter, they listed breaching fiduciary duty, violating company policy, misusing corporate assets. I mean, the only thing they didn't say was that he kicked the dog and brought peanuts into a nut-free work environment. I mean, they listed everything on this guy. There are pictures of him all over the internet, naked in the office. Does this guy have a shot in hell of staying at this company? What do you think, Dana? I'll let you go first.
Well, this is a long-running problem. There were allegations of sexual harassment. He was using company funds to fly his parents all over the country. He kept an apartment in New York that he wasn't using for business. So there's breach of fiduciary duty. It's a problem that the board's faced for a long time. I don't really think he has
At the same time, they offered him $4 million to stay in a creative role. He refused that, and he got fired afterwards. Bruce, is it possible that he brings something to the table? If they're offering him that money, I mean, could he be, I'm trying to, advocate for his case here. Could he be a creative genius who's just, also a lunatic?
Of course he could. Listen, look at the business he built. They sell T-shirts, jeans, and tights. It's not like anyone said there's a need for that in the marketplace, but he figured out a way to reconfigure the brand offering, to reconfigure the value proposition, and to sell them. They need his ideas. What they don't need is his craziness. Although I got to say, I don't really mind the fact that he flew his parents around. I mean, come on, he's just a good son.
Well, that being naked in the office, and there's
issue.
photos of him in front of the employees, and he's.
How much of this stuff has he settled? I mean, have they paid huge settlements? I've not.
Yeah, their insurance costs have gone through the roof, so they're trying to manage all this.
There is a point when you pay huge settlements that
it's over.